Hello from the Alchemy Workshop. Today is 22nd of January 2024, and we got some really cold weather here the last few days. I think Wednesday we had this ice storm, we had black ice. It's been a long time since I've seen that. Even icicles, it's been ages since I've seen that here. Then it followed up with a lot of snow. Everything was covered, everything was frozen, and it was getting as cold as minus 13, minus 14 at night. It's pretty cold for this area, at least for how it's been the last 10 years or so. So really in this video, I'm going over how I keep from freezing my butt off in my workshop. Also, I have my music gear up here. So whether you're trying to work with your hands or play guitar, being cold really sucks. It also affects things that you're working with sometimes. Like, for example, epoxy resin. That's going to be really hard to cure. Even for like attaching wood scales for my knife handles, when the epoxy resin's that cold, it's hard to pour it out of the bottles. And yeah, it takes longer to cure. Spray lacquer was taking forever to cure. This is my second winter in this workshop since we moved in. And it originally used to be an old barn. It was kind of made into like more of like a garage, I guess, but it's not insulated. It's good size. You can probably fit 4 cars in here, 3 or 4 cars. And old building. It's over 100 years old. The windows, there's 3 big windows over here. They're single pane glass, wood frame, old frame. There's still, there's air that comes in through there. 1 window on this side, and the doors are old wooden doors. So all those are not good for insulation. All the cold air is coming in. It gets really cold in here is what I'm trying to say. Really, most of what I did last year was electric heaters. I bought one from Lidl. I did some reviews on them. That mounts on the wall. It's really made for a bathroom, like a space heater. And that didn't do much. When it gets this cold, if you're sitting right under it, it's okay, but you're still going to be cold. I've tried those oil-filled radiators. That did nothing in here. It's too big of a space, even if you're sitting right next to it. Probably raised the room temperature a couple degrees, but it was very, very miserably cold. And I am no stranger to the cold. I spend a lot of time outdoors. I do a lot of night hunting where I'm sitting in a stand, not moving for several hours, waiting for a wild boar to come across, usually in the middle of the night and a lot of times in the winter. So that is cold. You're going to have to deal with it. You dress for it, but it's cold no matter what you do. The electric heating, once we got our first electric bill after using that, I unplugged them all, and I'm taking that one off the wall that I have, and I'm going to get rid of those things. Since, I don't know, I guess it had to do with the Russia-Ukraine thing. Since then, prices on heating, prices on electric, prices on everything have just skyrocketed. So the electric bill is one thing. Energy bills are just ridiculous. So I'd rather freeze than get a bill like that again. Another option I have here is this right behind me, this wood stove, which I just lit up a little while ago. Now that is a great option if you have it. It was already here when I moved in. This thing is antique. It's real German brand. It's going. It's doing its thing. And even this, it's got to go for a couple hours really to start warming things up unless I'm really close to it. And honestly, nothing to me beats an actual wooden fire. The sound of it, just the atmosphere of it, everything I love about it. Firewood, that went up in Germany. It used to be for like what we call a meter. It's, I guess it would be like a square meter or cubic meter of firewood. I used to get it for about 60 euro a meter. Last I checked, it was almost 200 euro a meter. And there's no way I'm paying that. I've been lucky and sourced some free firewood. It's not the best, but it's free. The only thing with it is it's coming in logs that are at least a meter long. I have to load those up in my car. I have a small car, load them in the trunk, put the back seats down, bring them here, unload them, cut them into smaller pieces with a chainsaw because this stove does not accept big pieces of wood. And then I got to split them with an axe. And I got to do that in the barn because that's really messy. And then carry it all up here. So it's a lot of work. Having a wood stove, that's hands down the best way to go. But with the price of firewood, if you don't have a good source of firewood or a lot of time to harvest it yourself, it might not be an option. So I got this wood stove fan. It was I've been wanting to get one, and I saw it at a store where I was It's kind of a store that sells a little bit of everything. I think I paid like 35 euro for it. And it doesn't run on electricity. It's the heat from the stove starts making the blade spin. I think it has to get up to like 65 Celsius and then it'll start spinning. And what that does is the hot air, instead of just rising straight up, it blows the hot air whatever direction it's facing. So it does make a difference, I have to say. It only has 2 blades. And I actually looked on Temu. They sell these. They have like some with 4 blades or some with 6 blades, some with a magnet that can actually go on the chimney pipe. And they were cheaper than this. So I'm going to try out some different ones. This does the job, but I think with a 4-blade or 6-blade fan, there's probably going to make a difference. And it's nice and quiet. It doesn't make you can't hear it at all. It's totally silent. I love the fireplace. But like I said, there's a few problems with it. The wood, of course. And then it's going to take a good hour to do anything before it heats up enough. And once it's going, I don't like to leave here. If I have to do something in the barn, I'm going to be like, no, the fire is going. Otherwise, it's just waste. And it's one of those things, I won't use it unless I know I'm going to be in here for a few hours and not have to leave. That's the downsides of it. So another solution I just tried, I bought this same day I bought this fan, was I ended up getting one of these propane heaters. It's attaches right to the top of a propane tank. This is like a 11, 12 kilo tank. You can fit it on the smaller 5 kilo ones, which I think I will invest in getting one. I have a lot of propane tanks for the forge, but a smaller one would be nice. It makes it more portable. This thing's kind of big to lug around. And then I can just carry it down to the barn when I go down there, because of course there's no heating in the barn either. So this thing, I have to say, I was skeptical how much propane it's going to use, because last I checked, it was about $30 to fill one of these up. And I'm sure that went up too. I'll find out this week. But it just screws right on. It comes with a regulator. It has the sort of clamp that screws on with a pin, the hose, and then you can adjust the heat here. Here's the actual box. So the brand is Rowi. It's the HGS 4600/I or 1. 4600 watts. And I paid about 35 euro, $35 for this. And I have to say, so far, it's been totally worth it. There's one that looks exactly the same, made by Einhell, and it was about the same price. Looking at it, it looked exactly the same, to be honest. They did have another model. It was weird because it was a slightly lower wattage, and it was more expensive, like 10 euros more. The only thing about that was different was it had a piezo igniter. So there was a button you could push to make a spark. And I figured for 10 euro, I don't need that. I always have a lighter around. It's actually really easy to light up. I'm going to just turn the gas on, and I'm going to need 2 hands for this. But basically, I turn this to the center position, push down, and light. Let me see if I can balance the phone on my lap. And it's lit. And it only takes that long. I'm already feeling the heat. Seriously, like not just a little heat, like it's starting to get hot. It only takes a couple minutes and this ceramic element will be glowing red. When I first started, I'll keep it on the highest setting on this dial. I've always turned it like either halfway or almost all the way down. If you turn it all the way down, it starts making kind of a fluttering sound, which is a little annoying, and it almost sounds like it's going to go out. And yeah, propane and open flame from the fireplace, not a good mix. Ideally, I don't run them both at the same time. I did last night because it was super cold, just waiting for the fire to get warm. But even when I run it down really low, that thing is throwing off some serious heat. I mean, it feels like your hand's going to get a sunburn at this point. So it's pretty efficient. And basically, it's saying out of one tank like this, you can get like 40 to 50 hours, I believe, which is not bad. Considering all the other options, this is probably the cheapest, easiest option. And it's instant. I will not leave this on when I'm not in here. That's for sure. It takes me 2 seconds to turn it off. That's what's nice. And just a couple seconds to turn it on. So if I'm going to leave the room for more than 1 minute, I'll turn it off. It's somewhat portable. I mean, the propane tank, when it's full, heavy and bulky to carry around, but it's not bad enough where I can just move it from here over there. Because honestly, it's not going to heat up this whole room to the point where you come in like, oh, it's warm in here. You notice it for sure, but if you have it in your area, that makes a big difference, and it's going to warm you up fast. Hands down, this is probably the most convenient way I found, and most economical way found in where I live in this area to heat up a cold workshop or a cold space. Turn the gas off. Done. That thing is still hot for a while, of course. I don't need it since this fire is going. It's been going for about almost an hour now. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Till next time.